Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Unfortunately, my co-host tonight is under the weather and juggling Jason. But I do want to welcome the president of the Weston County Cup, and that's Ms. Teresa Burrows. Teresa, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time out to join me. We just want to talk a bit about the Weston County. Obviously, the first round has taken place. What clearly at last year it was at White Hill Field. This year is now at Southampton Oval. But what are some of the things that the Weston County have been looking to do over the last few years to kind of give people, something to come out and be a part of?
Good evening, everyone. Well, yeah, it's been a bit of a rough road. We're trying to build things up and trying to make it better than it's been in the last few years. Obviously, we're still going through a few bumps and trials and tribulations, but we're just trying to basically get all clubs involved who are member clubs of the Weston County, and just to try to take in ideas and how we can make it better, make it a better day, make it a better series. And like I said, we're just really trying to rebuild. Like I said, always up for new ideas and different things that we could do. So like I said, we're just looking for the member clubs to just come out and support, the member club fans, even fans from all over the island to just come and support and see that cricket happens in the West as well,
Sure. Now, through the bumps and bruises of COVID, you guys managed to have a series last year up at White Hill Field. Take us through that coming back phase, because we had lost a lot, and then you took over the leadership, or you were in the leadership position. But getting that first one out of the way last year, what were some of the biggest challenges you guys faced?
Wow. Basically, because of COVID, the government rules, was very hard on us. We was only limited to 175 fans to enter into the game, which was already a task. We was trying to make people come, but then when we're limited, it was way harder. The good thing about White Hill Field, it's a large field, and we was able to spread it out, with no issues and stuff like that. But definitely the COVID rules were the hardest things that we had to face. And just making sure that we abided by all the rules, and which we did, and we did very well with that. Unfortunately, it kind of still put us in a hard place, like I said, because of the limitation on numbers. But, every year we're just now trying to, like I said, look for more things to try to make it better. Hopefully every year and every game it could get better.
Now, clearly, there at White Hill last year, we saw a lot of different things put around. This year, obviously, another crunch year. We've got these games. So, what can one expect? Let's put the game aside, because we do have a game on this coming Saturday, the second round. But what can people expect in and around the grounds that would attract them to come out?
Well, with Southampton Rangers, it's a smaller venue, but we're still trying to make it as much as we can. We have a few different food vendors and different things like that. Unfortunately, we don't have Crown and Anchor again, but we're working towards that once things get a little better for the Weston Counties and more funds and sponsorship and stuff like that comes in. Just to come and get a good atmosphere. This weekend, a bit rough for my team in particular, but it was a great day. It was a beautiful Saturday. The grounds looked really good. They ran just pulled it through, in the time that they had. And like I said, we're just hoping for a good day of cricket. Unfortunately, like I said, this weekend, it was a shorter day, but it still ended up being a beautiful day. So we're just trying to just make it the best we can.
Sure. Now, let me ask you, how did you get involved and put your hand up to become the leader of the Western County?
Wow. I didn't put my hand up for it at all. I actually first got involved by serving lunch, to be quite honest. My uncle, Gary Dillon, was actually a previous president. And me, just a lover of sports and lover of cricket, I just used to always come to the games, no matter who played, but definitely when my team played Somerset Bridge. And he was just like, hey, I need you to help me dip up food for the players. I said, okay. Yeah, I'll be here next week. So it just kind of went like that. And then he encouraged me to get on the board of me and a friend of mine. We got on and, years ago, I'm not going to share my age. And then I ran out for a bit, ran school life. And then I saw that Connie needed some more help again. So I just decided to say, hey, what's up? And came back and got involved, came back as the vice president. And then my president kind of pushed me into the position of being president. So here I am.
So clearly, I mean, you're in this position. You have a team around you. Who is some of the executive members of the board?
Right now, we do have a small board at the moment. Like I said, we're just trying to encourage all member clubs to come in and get involved. We have Keen Butterfield. He is our secretary, and he plays for Warwick. Also, Sharon Richardson, former president, and he is the vice president at the moment. And then I have Candice Burris, which is my mom. She's assistant secretary and treasurer. Yeah, like I said, we got a small board, but we just try to make it work with what we have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but you've been able to get things going and keep things going because the history of Western County is something big in Bermuda that we have to figure a way to continue it going, and hopefully it does come back to some remnants of where it was in yesteryears, but that's going to take some time. So let's talk a little bit about this coming week, and what one can expect at the Southampton Oval on Saturday, July 9th.
So this week, Saturday, we have the reigning champions, Southampton Rangers, will play against PHC. Like I said, hopefully it's a longer day, and hopefully it's just a great day like it was on Saturday, because it was just beautiful weather for a good day of cricket. And let's just hope that it's a better day for the county itself and for everyone. So like I said, we just look for the support to come out and support it. The only way we could get better is by people coming out and supporting.
Sure. And you have two other games down the road. When I say down the road, just after Cup match, you have two more, round 3 and round 4. Who's up in round 3 and who's up in round 4?
Round 3 is Warwick. So Warwick Cricket Club, they will be round 3. So whoever the winners of this weekend will play them on August the 6th. And then whoever's the winners out of Warwick and PHC will play Villacuts in the final round on August 20th.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, there you have the Western County. But let's talk a little bit more about clearly you've already indicated that you don't have Crown and Anchor, but you're working towards that. That's going to take some time as well. But what are some of the things where you guys are trying to get more family orientated out and getting the support from the member clubs? That's ideal, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's the most important thing, because it's been hard, and for the past few years, the lack of support has been making it a bit rough. we try to, we're trying to build a kid zone and stuff. So we do have a fun castle and stuff that kids can play on and stuff. We have, like I said, different vendors, snowballs, food, and this week I think we're supposed to have a few more different vendors that Rangers has arranged to have. And like I said, it's always a good day, like I said, to just come out and relax and watch some cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we're building our way back to what it used to be. I mean, when I was a kid, Coners was Coney. Like, we had Western Coney. Well, what I remember, Western Coney down White Hill, it was a great day. And people all day, regardless of what the score was, what time the game ended, the day would just be a great family day for everybody.
Sure.
So I'm just basically trying to get back to that point. And like you said, it's going to take time, but it's a lot of work. Even though it's only 4 games, but it's a lot of work.
And a lot of people don't realize the amount of work it takes to actually put on these games, arranging everything, making sure, because you go to a host club, they have a role and responsibility as well. But you have to stay on top of them, not stay on top of them, but stay in contact with them to ensure that everything that they're supposed to put in place is in place, and then whatever the organization, the county organization has to do, you're making sure that has to work as well. It's a monumental task. Is it something that you're still enjoying doing?
I have my days. I definitely have my days. And if anybody knows me, they know I could be a force to deal with.
Right.
But like I said, I just try to move on. I just kind of made a promise to myself and, to my family, as long as this is going on and I'm alive to try to make something out of it, I'm going to try, My family is big, they're big cricket people. They're not necessarily from this area. Me being a Somerset Bridge fan is strictly my daddy's doings.
Right.
My grandpa was a flats man, and my uncles were all Willicots. So it's always an argument of why am I for Somerset Bridge, but if you know me, you know me. If you know me, I am Somerset Bridge all the way.
Sure. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have more with the president of the Western County Cup. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. Well, you mentioned that you're a big Somerset Bridge fan, and that's your team. Rough weekend.
Yeah. But I love my team. No matter what.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about. I'm not 100% sure if you're well versed on all the rules and regulations, but every year there's always some catch-22 on rules and regulations. So do you think you guys have sorted this part out where players are eligible and for whatever teams whenever they're about to play?
That's always a rough thing with the eligibility. We're actually in the workings of figuring this out to make it completely clear. It's just because of the few times that the Constitution has been changed, the change in the rules, but then something else kind of contradicts another thing. So we're working on it. But we try to make sure that everything is pretty clear and straightforward before the games happen.
Sure. I mean, nobody likes to see a game not played because there's controversy, off the field kind of thing.
Right.
And, the past has been the past, but it's time to move on and move forward and get this stuff, really, really sorted out. But other than that, what are some of the things that you guys have been challenged with, just to make sure that these games take place?
Everything. No. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we try our best to try to pull it off. I mean, we always are facing the challenges of games, like rematches being played on our day and different things like that. I mean, it's junior county every year as well, and that sometimes is a bit of a task. But we just have to try to move forward and just try to make it the best we can. Like I said, I just try to encourage people to come out and just support it. At the end of the day, it's cricket island-wide. And, it's not just all about one side of the island, or it's not just about cup match or whatever. It's about everybody trying to, just do better and trying to just support. Just come on and support. Cricket has had a rough start, period, for the league, period. So just try to encourage the teams to come out and do their best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So looking at it, the team you have around you, like you say, it's a small team, but it's a working team. How much responsibility and roles does everyone play, in weeks leading up to the games?
Everybody does everything. I mean, like I said, I have the people that I work with. They give me the time and dedication. Like I said, they work with me as well because, like I said, if anyone knows me, I could be a hothead, I could be a force to be reckoned with, but we just have to get it done. I don't want, I'm trying, of course, I'm not trying to fail. I'm just trying to make it the best I can, that I, the best of what I could do. I mean, I have a lot of people, outside of Connie that does support me and that does encourage me to keep going and keep doing things. And then it's a little harder because I'm a female in a male-dominated sport.
Yeah.
So that makes it just a little harder. I have to work a little harder for the respect,
I was gonna ask that. How is that working out? Because you're right. You make mention of you're a female and a leader in an organization in a sport that's dominated predominantly in Bermuda by males. So how is that challenge going?
It's a rough one. It's a rough challenge. I mean, the good thing, I'm a pretty strong person that I could take a lot. It's hard. I could take a lot. I could rock 50 man. I'm a sports person, and like I said, I'm Somerset Bridge, Somerset Eagles, and a lot of people know me from my mouth,
right?
Shouting and saying things that they probably shouldn't say, but hey, I just don't try to back down. I mean, and I'm a bartender by day, so
Okay.
I deal with a lot of personalities, a lot of different things on a regular day. So I just try to use those things that I deal with on a regular day to deal with this.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to wish you all the best for the remainder of the series. Clearly, you have your work cut out for you, you and your team, but
I do.
hopefully you get the support from the member clubs, because they have to remember that it's for them as well.
Right. Yeah,
It's really-
definitely.
so,
Definitely. Like I said, I just ask people just to come and support it. You got a lot of people saying, "Oh, it ain't no Connie like Eastern Connie." Hey, I'm not trying to be Eastern Connie. I'm trying to be Western Connie, and that's that.
sure.
I'm not trying to be better than anybody else, make it better than the next one. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to bring it back to what it used to be and what it can be. And like I said, I just ask for the support. Come out and support us. Come out and give us a hand. It's nothing wrong. I'm always open for help and support.
So what time is it on Saturday?
So Saturday at Southampton Oval, the game starts at 11 o'clock.
And
Our
it-
gates open at 9:30, and just come out and enjoy the day.
so it's Southampton Rangers taking on
So
PHC.
Southampton Raiders taking on PHC.
Okay, Battle of Warwick.
Yes. Yes. So that's
Even
the derby
though
match
it's
for the day.
Southampton, but it's a Battle of Warwick.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining, and all the best. We'll look to give you as much support as possible in coverage. So all the best. We'll see you this weekend at the Southampton Oval. We're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by the president of Kenna, Mr. Brian Lewis, to talk about the recently concluded Caribbean Games. We'll be right back. Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Just putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. We are waiting the arrival of Mr. Brian Lewis. Just to give a recap of the Weston County, as we just finished with the president of Weston County, Ms. Teresa Burrows. On Saturday gone, it was Southampton Rangers beating Somerset Bridge by 7 wickets. Somerset Bridge scored 87, with Southampton Rangers scoring 93 for 3. The top scorer for Somerset Bridge was Gino Smith with 22. Noah Woods was the only other batsman in double figures. He scored 16. Dion Stubble was the pick of the Southampton Rangers bowlers taking 4 for 11, while Nairobi Mills took 3 for 22. And then in reply, Southampton Rangers only needed 8.3 overs to score their 93. Dion Stubble was the top scorer of 39. Sean Riley took 2 for 26 for Southampton Rangers. As I said, we are awaiting the arrival of Brian Lewis, who is the president of Kennock, and Kennock is an overseer of the recently concluded inaugural Caribbean Games that took place in Guadeloupe, where Bermuda won a bronze medal in cycling. We participated in 2 different sports in athletics and in cycling. We done a time trial and a road race, and the bronze medal was won by Nick Narroway in the road race. He finished 3rd behind a rider from Puerto Rico and as well. So and Guadeloupe finished 2nd. So we're going to talk to Mr. Lewis regarding the outcome of the games. The inaugural Caribbean Games was an under-23 event, and again, Bermuda participated in cycling and in athletics. We had a team of 5 or 6. We had Macau Dill doing long jump and triple jump. We had Ryan Otterbridge taking part in the 1500. In the time trial, we had the likes of Liam Flannery, Nick Narroway competing. And then in the road race, we had Liam Flannery joining Alexander Miller, as well as Narroway, with Narroway winning that medal. So again, we are awaiting the arrival of Mr. Brian Lewis, the president of Kennock. We'll take another commercial break, and when we come back, hopefully he's joining us live. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Good evening, everyone. Sometimes the least said, the better. We have been here for a couple hours. The athletes have been on their feet. We have seen tonight a display of unity, enthusiasm, creativity, and passion by the performers from Guadeloupe, all young and all talented. We have had a tremendous reception from the Guadeloupe people, the Guadeloupe authorities, the government of France. We have had unprecedented cooperation amongst the 30 CANOC members. Ladies and gentlemen, athletes, friends, colleagues, against all odds, we have created history. They said it couldn't be done. We had to overcome in 2009 the cancellation a few weeks before the opening ceremony because of H1N1, the virus. We had to overcome COVID-19, the pandemic. But through it all, we stood on the shoulders of our ancestors. We showed that where there is a will, there is a way. That unity is our strength, and strength is our unity. We created history. We have done it over the next 5 days. We cannot get complacent. And I look forward to seeing more at the closing ceremony. It is now my pleasure, honor, and privilege on behalf of the CANOC Executive Committee and all the CANOC members, the local organizing committee, my good friend Alain Sorez and his committee at Goja, Mr. Daniel Dulac, who's been a great friend, Mr. Andre Bruce. Yes? It now gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to declare the historic first ever Caribbean Games open. Let the games begin. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pan Am Sports. Thank you, Central Caribbean Sports, Nebenelec, Luis Mejias. Let the games begin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brian Lewis, le président de la CANOC. Encore un applaudissement, the Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committee. Et nous appelons encore une fois sur la scène Monsieur le sous-préfet Bruno.
And I want to say welcome to the president of CANOC, Mr. Brian Lewis. Well, Mr. Lewis, the inaugural Caribbean Games have finally taken place. It's been a journey. People don't realize how long this initial event has been in the making and had its challenges throughout the years, but now we're underway. Take us through that journey, that struggle that we've encountered over the years to get us to this point.
Yeah, well, just to the avoidance of doubt, thank you very much for having me. I'm now the immediate past president of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, but still very much the president of the Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committees.
Okay.
So I would have passed the baton in Trinidad and Tobago to the first ever female president of the TTOC in Diane Henderson. You know, as I said in the opening ceremony, and we stood on the shoulders, I think that's what I said, of our ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And for us as Caribbean people, that's how long the journey has taken. The reality is that for many people still, you know, colonialism, slavery, the plantation, and racism is still very much part of the global infrastructure and system. And sport And the Olympic and Commonwealth sports movement is no exception. And there is this historical, systemic, and institutionalized view that we in the Caribbean have certain limitations, deficiencies, and that we can't build something from scratch. That we tend to be crabs in the barrel, and cannot be unified, and that it is easy to divide and rule us, so that we are always seen as performers in someone else's show, whether it be the Olympic Games, Pan Am Games, CSC Games, Commonwealth Games, that you then had different territories having their own games, Mediterranean game, Bolivarian game, South American games. But we in the Caribbean have always faced naysayers and doubters who continue to say and perpetuate that it can't, and we couldn't do it. And then in 2009, when a few days before the opening ceremony, the then Trinidad and Tobago government canceled the Caribbean Games based on the H1N1 virus. That was not only devastating for the athletes and for all the Caribbean Olympic and Commonwealth movement stakeholders, but it also was a significant dent in our credibility and the self-esteem, and gave the doubters an opportunity to say, told you also. So the journey has not been a short one. And as one international publication said, how they put it, the trouble the Caribbean Games is about to get underway. That international publication gave much better coverage to the Mediterranean Games and other games rather than the Caribbean Games. But it is what it is. So, when Guadeloupe offered and was accepted in January 2020 to host the first ever Caribbean Games, because no one since 2009 was brave enough or stupid enough, depending on your perspective, to throw their hat in the ring. Even my country, Trinidad and Tobago, and also the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee then threw our hat to stage the Commonwealth Youth Games, which we eventually won the bid. And even that, it was easier to generate support for a Commonwealth Youth Games bid rather than to go again at a Caribbean game. So we took on the challenge. Some people said it was a significant gamble, that it would never happen. And then when COVID-19 pandemic hit, well, again, the naysayers say, boy, the goose cook. But Guadeloupe said, no, we will have it. We would reschedule it from 2021 to 2022. 29th of June, 3rd of July was agreed. And then 2 months before the games, there was a lot of challenges, adversity, obstacles, so that Secretary General Keith Joseph, who was really, we worked hand in hand in trying to pull this thing off, had gone repeatedly to Guadeloupe. And on one of those visits in May 2022, we were greeted by the startling and potentially devastating news that one of the authorities in Guadeloupe had withdrawn the track cycling velodrome, the track and field facility, and netball. So 2 months before the game, that was track cycling was off, track and field. You can imagine a Caribbean Games without track and field.
No.
And netball, which is a compulsory sport, was under threat. So the reality was very much that the games was facing a dark moment. But again, Secretary General of CANOC, Kit Joseph, and myself, who is also the Secretary General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Alain Soares, the President of the Guadeloupe Olympic Committee, we said no way. Against all odds, this game will be held. No matter what they threw at the game, or what they threw at us, we may have been brought to our knees, but we will not give up. We will not surrender. We will not quit. And we were able to get support from 2 mayors, Eric Jalton in Les Abymes and Cedric Cornet in Lagosier. I don't know if I have it right. And we got a netball facility to use in Petit Bourg. We got a track to use. And the track, though, was only 6 lanes. We were able to get the support of NACAP, again, Chukin Joseph and the president of NACAP from Bahamas, the legendary Mike Stan. So the games are back on against all odds. And then there was an issue with visas where the French government and the French National Olympic Committee couldn't pull out support the request of Alain Soares and Guadeloupe, even though I'm sure that Paris 2024 would not have that issue.
No.
So again, that was a potential thing because it meant countries such as Jamaica, Belize, Guyana had to face significant costs to get visas, 600 US more. No, again, that impacted the size of their delegation. So when we got to the point of the 29th of June and the opening ceremony, against all odds. And then we had 5 days of sheer enjoyment and passion and commitment from the athletes from the 29 countries out of the 30 of CANOC that turned up, including Bermuda.
Oh, yes.
Full credit to Bermuda. Shout out to Bermuda. And I'll give you a little Bermuda story just now, right? And the 3rd of July closing ceremony, you looked at the closing ceremony, parade. We really showed that unity is our strength and our strength is our unity. And if we could unite, all things are possible. There is a will, there is a way. And there were some lovely features. Instead of doing the traditional European kind of baton relay, Guadeloupe chose the Queen Conch shell relay. And the Queen Conch shell has deep symbolism and significance in the Caribbean, but Guadeloupe culture. It's a symbol back in the day of resistance, freedom, and emancipation. And it was interesting. The Queen Conch shell relay was launched on the 27th of May in Guadeloupe, which is Abolition Day, and it went to 32 towns. It was awesome. Yeah. It was a significant moment early for the Caribbean Olympic and
Yeah.
Commonwealth sport.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you because I hear the passion. I hear it all. What do we got to do to make sure this continues? Because clearly, I hear you saying we have to continue to come together, and that has been a challenge in the Caribbean for many of years. Where we've gotten the Carifta Games underway, but that's just one particular sport. That's just athletics. So how do we make sure that we unify the Caribbean Games and make sure that they continue, for years to come?
Nothing in life is guaranteed, Earl.
True.
And, the road to hell, as I said, is paved with good intention. But we have made it that historic start. We have shown ourselves and the world that we can do it with unity of purpose, unity of focus, and a deep burning desire to achieve something that was significant, that provides inspiration and motivation, and an example for the youth and young people of the Caribbean. That being said, the next Games is scheduled for 2025 because 4 years, it was supposed to be in 2021, was postponed, so it gets back on the cycle. So 2025, we have interest from 2 countries, and the conversations will continue, and the aim is to make an announcement in November this year at the CANOC General Assembly, which will be held the 4th and 5th of November in Port of Spain, Trinidad. So I'm looking forward to the next months of conversations with the 2 prospective countries, and we'll see that's how it goes.
I'm excited about that.
Let me give you my quick Bermuda story.
Okay.
So I went to the cycling.
Yes.
And they asked me to drop the flag and start the race. I had obligations, but I got kind of drawn in, and they had a vehicle for me. Never been in a vehicle that was adapted for road race. Cycling is big in Guadeloupe, Martinique.
Yes.
So I was in this vehicle. So I spent 5 laps of the 9-lap loop. Okay. So, the vehicle is an official vehicle. So it had opportunity, siren and different things to move along the course. So there was this breakaway. There was a breakaway, 2 Cubans and a Puerto Rican. And they had this big gap. And then there was a guy from Guadeloupe, a little way behind, trying to catch up. And then there was another group. So after the 5th lap, it was real kind of, I indicated that I really had to leave because by this time, it was 5 laps, right? So I indicated I had to leave. So the guy at Guadeloupe, he pulled aside the vehicle. I was there it was Millie's officer and Itania Wiggins of the CANOC executive, who had the responsibility for social media and communication. So he pulled aside, the guy said, well, we'll try to watch the entire field past this corner before we go. So while we on the way to this corner, so we catch up, we pass, as I said, there was a group, the Guadeloupe, and then there was this other group with a Bermudan cyclist in it. So we watched everybody pass, and I said, well, it's all over by the shouting. It's between the 2 Cubans and the Puerto Rican, they have this word so now. We went back to Pointe-à-Pitre. We had different things to do at what they call the main operating center. the closing ceremony, but we have logistical things to deal with up to the closing ceremony. So about maybe 4 p.m., one of the technical delegates came from the cycling and he said, the Puerto Rican won. I said, wow, how will be the two Cubans? I said, so he went Puerto Rico, Cuba. He said, no, Mr. President. He was a Spanish guy from Cuba, Rene Romero. He said, no, Mr. President. Cuba. No. The Puerto Rico was first, Guadeloupe was second, and Bermuda third. I said, nah, double check the results. He said, no, I don't need to double check it. I said, so how?
Couldn't have lost him. Oh. We've lost.
I was then elated. I said, wow, the Bermudan guy. He said, I really saw this. I said, I really saw this young fellow working, but I didn't think they could catch that group, But I was really happy at the end, and I said, wow, but I admit, boy, these guys were so far.
Yes.
So, I mean, credit to the young man. You're familiar with the guy, right?
Nicholas Narroway, yes.
Right, remember he didn't get the bronze medal in the cycling.
He got the bronze medal, yes. Nicholas Narroway.
Yeah.
Yes.
I said, that might be with that story.
Yes.
I was so proud of him when the shock settled, right? And it wasn't because I was questioning his ability, because it was so funny. An early part of the race, first, second lap, iron sharing, you're familiar with cycling, right? The term iron sharing.
Right.
So every time we pass and we see a cyclist at the back struggling, lose connection, it was a English-speaking Caribbean, right?
Right.
So we were making up. Because I think they started with three Bermudan cyclists.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
right? So, as I said, but it was very surprising. At that point, I said, wow, all right, man, good. Glad, man, Bermuda. I said, so he said, yes, that was a surprise, Mr. Lewis, because we thought them Cubans had it sewn up. Yeah. So that was my Bermuda story for the game. I was very proud of
It's good.
all the Caribbean, all the athletes.
Yeah, it's good that medals were shared around the entire event. Swimming and 3-on-3 basketball, and everybody got a taste. So now it only makes the games that much more hungrier for, especially under 23s, because now they have something else.
Yeah, and funny enough, the under 23 approach was put forward by the Guadeloupe, right? Sorry, it's on Guadeloupe. And when it was put forward, I have to admit I wasn't too happy about it, right? Because the game was intended, but I tell you, it turned out to be a real high point of the game, and the athletes, the under 23 athletes, have made a strong case for it remaining an game, because there is that gap, there is that little gap between, you know what I mean, right? So it will be interesting to see how that how develops. And let me tell you, the real impactful sports on the program, so the 3 compulsory sports for the Caribbean Games and Cano will be, those 3 sports are track and field, of course, swimming, and netball. So netball, I know Guadeloupe took on that challenge. They have no history of netball. But from an English-speaking Caribbean, netball is an important sport, in particular for women, right? Female, girl. So we have it. But I have to tell you, the sport that really had oomph was Chi-Chi basketball.
Yes.
Futsal. Man, in terms of crowd support and crowd participation, outside of the opening and closing ceremony.
Right.
Tree basketball, futsal, and esports. Because we took a brave decision, I must say, to endorse the Giga esports game to run parallel. So although it wasn't a medal sport on the official program,
Right.
it was a kind of Giga sport esports tied in to the Caribbean game. And in fact, I presented one of the medals at even though it was non-official medal table. Let me tell you, Earl, that venue, that esports venue was pumping.
Sure, because it's gaming.
Yeah.
It's what the young people are into.
Yeah, man. And them dinosaurs, us dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I don't want people to take it offensively, right? So I'll brand myself with it. Even though I'm a big esports supporter.
Sure.
Us bam. You know, even when I was president of the TTOC, I was trying to encourage it, but esports here to stay, man. Them youths, them all in on them and that esports, eh?
Sure. All up into it.
Next time around, it'll be interesting to see how it go.
Yeah.
I think more countries have to come on board that.
Yeah. Well, we saw the conclusion of the game. You know, just the celebrations and you know what the games meant to that crowd, to everyone that took part. I mean, you know, Guadeloupe has had
that video showing. I think sums it up. And if you heard the Pan Am Sports commentators, they spoke about the unity, the Caribbean, the oneness. I mean, where else in the Caribbean you'll see that? Look at the boy from Guyana, Dion Nurse. Look at that. No, you realize I still had on my mask. I'm making joke with that, you know.
Yes, I saw that.
Still around.
I took note of that.
Boy, look here, boy. How much you think you would see the president of the IOC doing that in the Olympic parade?
Not doing that.
Look.
Sure.
Aye, but Caribbean people, right? That nobody like us, you know.
It's the satisfaction of knowing that something that's been worked so hard to achieve has materialized and it's started now. So you leaving with this group of not only people from Guadeloupe, that's the conch shells and all, but the Caribbean holding each other together. Look at that. That's what that is right there.
Earl, we were able to achieve between the 29th of June and the 3rd of July, what our Caribbean politicians have not been able to do.
Unite.
Look at that unity, one Caribbean.
Unite.
Look.
Sure.
The closing ceremony in a games, where you ever see that, man? Tell me, with your experience, where you ever see that?
You don't see that. You don't.
Look, that's Alan Soares, the president.
Yeah. Sure. Yes, indeed.
Otai and all, you know.
Putting on a show. Wow.
And I must give credit again to, I mean, this is you in Bermuda there and acknowledge the support of Bermuda within their challenges and limitations. As I said, you see this thing here? That's the Grenadian athletes, right?
Yes.
And look, you see the young man before they cut it over the glass. He challenged me to a dance off. I said, boy, you feel you could carnival wine dance more than I
was just to say, he didn't realize where you were from.
Yeah, man. I say he fast, man. I take him on, man. Bow tie and all that.
Bow tie and all. They were mistaken.
So people have that memory, those memories of the game, but you see that closing ceremony parade, that will live on. The people in Guadeloupe say, man, that they say, you know, Mr. Lewis, they call him, President Lewis kind of thing, and in the context.
Right.
I said, but what's the big deal? I said, actually, he said, no, people, them leaders, but the Guadeloupe president was there, right? But they say in general, no, people who are position, they use the word bourgeois. The two bourgeois, I said, boy, me bourgeois, boy, I said, if all you know, we just dress in this, but old suit. For Juve,
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, man, it was fantastic. I'm sorry you missed the boat, man. You might have been one of the.
Well, you know what? There's always 2025. Trust me, there's always 2025. So
yeah, but you missed the boat, boy. Let me tell you, the first one, it's like the first of everything. First man on the moon.
Yes.
The first historic Caribbean game. We, not me. We, the Caribbean. All the NOCs, all the CGAs, Commonwealth Games, so the athletes, the coaches, the technical officials, the volunteers. This is French, Dutch, English, Spanish. Unite. We did it.
Yes, you did.
We did what they said we couldn't do.
Yes.
We stayed at Caribbean Games, Earl.
Yes, you did.
We stayed at Caribbean Game.
Mr. President, I want to thank you very much because you have been championing a call for these games and other things to happen throughout this Caribbean, and hopefully a lot more comes to fruition for our athletes, for our NOCs, for just our nations to be the dominant ones that we know we should be and can be throughout, the sports that we all take part in, because whenever you have the Olympic Games or the Pan Am Games or the Commonwealth Games as we have coming up at the end of the month, the Caribbean are the ones who put on the show. But it's also, and you said it at the beginning, why do we wait to be the stars of someone else's show when we should be the stars?
No, we will see all them Caribbean people walking with their chest out, and you walk into their game. Hey, I like our games,
Yes,
we're going to get you a little time,
Sure.
Start small and proud moment, man, for the youth and young people and all of us in the Caribbean, man. Awesome, man.
Yes. Again.
Bermuda, you were part of it.
Yes.
And sometimes Bermuda will be a little disengaged, but I tell you, they were all in, man.
Sure. Wow. Again, congratulations, Mr. President. Job well done. We will speak to you soon because we have that November date coming up where we will find out where the 2025 Caribbean Games will be. Okay?
November.
4th and 5th.
Who want to host the 2025 games? Man, stand by.
Stand by. I'm standing by. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, man.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Bless.